Hello, this series is back. Yes, we're doing another one after not doing for a few months. So I'm going to be sharing with you everything that I've watched in October. So all of it, movies and series. So yeah, here we go. Let's make this quick so I don't bore you. One in movies. It's American Murder, The Family Next Door, directed by Jenny Popplewell. It's actually a documentary. So, using raw first-hand footage, this documentary examines the disappearance of Shannon Watts and her children and the terrible events that followed. So, most of these films that I'm going to be sharing with y'all are from Netflix because that is the only source that I have. So, next one. Johnny English Strikes Again, directed by David Kerr. So yeah, Mr. Bean, we love a good old comedy action, physical comedy, whatever. What am I saying? I'm always confused in every one of my videos. Anyway, next one, The Godfather 2, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. If you really love cinema, I guess you already know this already. It's a sequel for the first one, The Godfather. I already watched that last September. So in October I watched the second one. So in the continuing saga of the Corleone crime family, a young Vito Corleone grows up in Sicily and in 1910s New York. In the 1950s, Michael Corleone attempts to expand the family business into Las Vegas, Hollywood, and Cuba. This explores Vito Corleone's origins. So it is played by Robert De Niro, and Robert De Niro and Al Pacino both look good in this film. So The Meg, next one is The Meg, directed by Jon Turteltaub. I've always wanted to watch this, but I never had the time, but now I did. So anyway, it's a deep-sea submersible pilot revisits his past fears in the Mariana Trench and accidentally unleashes the 70-foot ancestor of the great white shark believed to be extinct. Next, Un Chien Andalou, or in English, The Andalusian Dog, directed by Luis Buñuel. Un Chien Andalou is a classic European avant-garde surrealist film from the cooperation of director Luis Buñuel and Salvador Dali. The film changed the way people made movies. Most famous is the scene of a woman's eye being cut with a knife. So in one of my classes, it's not really a requirement, but my professor made us watch this so we can appreciate, this. So we can know the difference between, the type of films like realist, modern, postmodern type of films, stuff like that. And I'm not sure, but I think this is the first modern film. But yeah, so it kind of changes the way, like I said, it changes the way that films are made after this film. Next one is First Cosy Third, directed by Rila Florido. The film is about a 65-year-old retiree Corey who gets reunited with her first love, and finally the supposed date happens 5 decades after they got separated. It's cute. Next one is Fantasy Island, directed by Jeff Wadlow. A group of contest winners arrive at an island hotel to live out their dreams, only to find themselves trapped in a nightmare scenario. This film reminds me of that story from Choices. Do you guys know Choices? It's an app with like virtual books, and I always read that. I always use that. And they have this book called Endless Summer, which reminds me of Fantasy Island because the manager of Fantasy Island, his name is Mr. Rook, and the owner of the island in Endless Summer. His name is also Mr. Brooks. Next one is Saving Private Ryan, directed by Steven Spielberg. As U.S. troops from the beaches of Normandy, three brothers lie dead on the battlefield with a fort trapped behind enemy lines. Ranger Captain John Miller and 7 men are tasked with penetrating German-held territory and bringing the boy home. So this is also one of the movies that my professor told us to watch to appreciate realist films. So it's a realist film. Ocean Andalou is a modern type of film, so this one is, yeah, and I'm not sure, but I think this film also opened a new way of doing war films, so yeah. The next one is Rebecca, directed by Ben Wheatley. It's a remake from Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. So after a whirlwind romance with a wealthy widower, a naive bride moves to his family estate but can't escape the haunting shadow of his late wife. So the next one is The Trial of Chicago 7, directed by Aaron Sorkin. So what was intended to be a peaceful protest at the 1968 Democratic National Convention turned into a violent clash with police and the National Guard. The organizers from the protest, including Abby Hoffman, Jerry Rubin, Tom Hayden, and Bobby Seale, were charged with conspiracy to incite a riot, but the trial that followed was one of the most notorious in history. Surprisingly, it's very entertaining and I was very invested throughout the whole film. So last one for movies is Hayop Ka by Avid Leongoren. It follows an attractive Philian sales lady at a department store as she figures in a love triangle between her mongrel janitor boyfriend and her high society business dog. It's voiced by famous Filipino actors, and I really like the animation. It's so pretty, so nice, and I wish to see more from our Filipino animators because they are great. I'm only gonna be saying all of the series that I finished watching in October. So first one was BTS in the Soup, starring BTS, of course. In the Soup focuses on BTS's daily lives and rest outside the stage, where they spend time normally while doing their hobbies. The members plan timetables for the day and spend time solely among themselves, surrounded by a wide river and a dense forest. The members take the lead without communicating with the production crew and show their natural selves while spending their time separately and together. So ever since the class started, BTS in the Soup was kind of like my healing time. So yeah. So next one is Big Mouth. It's an adult cartoon. So teenage friends find their lives suspended by the wonders and horrors of puberty in this edgy comedy from real-life pals Nick Kroll and Andrew Goldberg. Next one is Emily in Paris, starring Lily Collins. So after landing her dream job in Paris, Chicago marketing exec Emily Cooper embraces her adventurous new life while juggling work, friends, and romance. Okay, last two is The Haunting of Hill House. I started watching The Haunting of Hill House way back in like January, February, yeah, basically like months ago. But I only watched the first episode because I was too scared to continue it. But recently, last September, Netflix just released The Haunting of Bly Manor, and I really wanted to check it out. So I thought I finish The Haunting of Hill House first before I get into The Haunting of Bly Manor. So anyway, Haunting of Hill House. Flashing between past and present, a fractured family confronts haunting memories of their old home and the terrifying events that drove them from it. So last one is The Haunting of Bly Manor. The story tells of a young governess hired by a man to look after his niece and nephew at the family country house after they fall into his care. Arriving at the Bly estate, she begins to see apparitions that proceed to haunt their premises. Haunting of Hill House was really spooky, while the haunting of Bly Manor, honestly, at first I thought it was super slow and confusing, but then towards like last couple of episodes, that's when things kind of started. That's when things kind of started making okay. Towards the last couple of episodes, that's when things started making sense, and then so yeah, that's when it became exciting, and then the ending was turned out to be super sad. So yeah, that wraps up everything that I've watched. Yeah, I'll see you on the next video. You can go ahead and watch all of these movies and series if you'd like. Thank you for watching. Bye.